Hello and welcome to our new webinar today. The Arbor School, how a Dubai school became the world's best for environmental action. So this is going to be a really lively conversation with Principal Gemma Thornley from the Arbor School in Dubai. So hello, lovely
Hi,
to meet you.
and you as well. Thank you for having me.
In our conversation, we're going to explore how Arbor integrates sustainability across its British curriculum, the impact of its living campus, and how students are empowered to lead change locally and globally. But first, Gemma, many congratulations on winning the world's best school prize for environmental action, which is recognising pioneering work in eco-literacy and sustainability in education. So lots to celebrate there. Just tell us what the feelings are at the school. It looked wonderful from the photographs.
I mean, it is absolutely incredible. We were up against some amazing schools from across the globe. So you just don't know, do you, if you're actually going to win it? And when it came through on the evening, like we had students there, we had parents there, we had members from our governing body there, the owners of the school. And it felt like the roof went off. It was just absolutely incredible. But it's kind of reflects that vision of education, and it was also validation, I suppose, that shows that our students aren't just passive learners in what we're trying to achieve here, but they're actually actively engaged in kind of shaping a better future for themselves and obviously for their children as well, I suppose.
Yes, and in Dubai, as all places, one would be a bit surprised.
Absolutely. I think that's another thing as well. Even though we, said it was great for our school, but it was great for Dubai, but even bigger, it was great for the UAE because it shows that actually we are really trying to lead the way in sustainable education, and really putting it on the map. So we're really proud to be part of that national story.
Yes. So just tell me a little bit about the background of the school, ages, curriculum, that sort of thing, and how it includes environmental in everything. And then we'll go on to the questions, explaining some of the terminology as well, because a lot of listeners will really, like myself, not so switched on to all the lingos like eco-literacy, for example. So anyway,
Absolutely.
just give us a little summary about the school.
So we're a British curriculum school, and we opened in 2018. We just have our first year 13 cohort going through this year. We've got around 1,515 students in school from over 90 different nationalities. And even though we are foundation stage all the way through to post 16, we are a school that has an environmental and ecological lens over everything we do. So I suppose being outside of the UK, we're not kind of beholden to everything that you have to do in the UK for, British curriculum. We can be a little bit more experimental, I suppose. Obviously not once you get to GCSE and A level, that's pretty strict, but with our kind of key stage 1, 2 and 3 curriculum especially. So that's what we've tried to do with the school. So yeah, it's very successful.
Brilliant, great. And you look like you've got some wonderful facilities. So let's pick up those as we ask the questions, because if you can verbally describe also what the school looks like, it does look a very exciting place to learn in. Right, so over to Arbor School. So perhaps you can tell us how Arbor weaves eco-literacy and what that is and sustainability into the British curriculum from foundation stage and through secondary.
Absolutely. So it's not just the standalone subject, eco-literacy at Arbor. Eco-literacy in its own right is a very kind of complex subject. So we kind of have this kind of broad umbrella of ecological and environmental education, which is, we say it's a lens that sits over everything that we do in the curriculum. So by that, what we mean is we look for opportunities of where we can maybe swap out something that is maybe dry in the UK British curriculum and swap it in for something that's more hands-on, really kind of linked to real world problems. And it's a thread that runs through everything that we do at the school. It's an interpretation, I suppose, of what is kind of deeply enriched by ecological and ethical inquiry. So it looks very different in foundation stage all the way through to post 16. So when we're talking about kind of environmental and ecological education with the littlest children that we have in the school, it's about getting their hands dirty and being outside with the world and, really exploring what nature looks like, what it feels like, and giving them that opportunity to be play-based in everything that they do, but also as well really starting to make those links to the environment and the world in which they live. And as that kind of goes through the school, in primary, for example, in year 3, they're looking at maybe looking at something at the moment, or they are looking at something at the moment called the tin forest. So it's an opportunity to look at like how, trash in the forest and how people are bringing different areas of the world that we live in into disrepute, how they could find solutions and problems to solve that. And we do that through kind of a concept-based and a project-based curriculum, very inquiry-led, which is not really lending itself necessarily to kind of the traditional model of the British curriculum. So there's a little bit of kind of, I suppose, an IB vibe in there with the project-based way that we approach that. And as it gets through into the secondary school, the Key Stage 3 approach is more of a concept-based curriculum, which is you have your English and maths, your science, your standalone subjects in there, but every opportunity we get to weave it into the humanities, the arts, sport, we do that. So as an example, year 7 might be looking at urban architecture. And we look at like how that might link in with a physics lesson, with a maths lesson, but then they'll be in the drama studio and they'll be looking at role play around how they, put their voices out in society about it. So we look at every opportunity we can to kind of layer that eco lens over the top. And as they get through, obviously, to the top end of the school, so Key Stage 4 or 5, for the exam years, we're still very much focused on how we can have them to, be climate justice vocal advocates in society. So we'll have things like our global impact certificate, which is something that we've actually written ourselves here, that sit alongside our pastoral programme and alongside our academic programme. And then as they go into sixth form, we actually develop that into an EPQ, which is an opportunity for our students to have that linked into getting a qualification. And all students at Key Stage 4 do our Global Perspectives GCSE, which is a Pearson GCSE. So that's a mandatory subject that we have all our students take as an additional GCSE. There's a lot in there.
For those not so switched on the technology, what is an EPQ?
So it's an extended project qualification. So it's equivalent to an A-level. So it's like an extra qualification. So especially for students that are going back into the UK, as an example, for university, it's an extra kind of string to their bow to kind of strengthen that application for those top universities. So it's a lot of work for the students, but because they're so passionate about what they are doing, and it's a project that they come up with, it's not something that we give them. They have a mentor that works with them on that. And again, it kind of almost links in with what the IB curriculum would look like with their projects.
And very much preparing young people not only for higher education but future careers as well, I expect.
Absolutely.
Working on their own. Exactly. Great. So perhaps you can go in and tell us a little bit more about biodomes, the regenerative garden, the natural habitat, all these hands and wonderful space you have available to you, which really must enhance learning.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, I've been in the UAE for 14 years in different schools, and this one is like something you've never seen before. But we often describe it as a living classroom. So every element of the school has been really designed intentionally to be able to teach whatever you want to within the environment that they have. So we have biodomes, we have 3 biodomes, they're climate controlled, and each one is kind of dedicated to different elements of the curriculum. One has been set up as a biology lab in the first instance, which mainly is kind of for the secondary students. But the beauty of it is it's attached to a second biodome, which actually, when they have their textbooks for GCSE and A-level biology, you often open the pages and you'll see the plants in there. but we grow the plants in the biodome. So the students can actually go in there and they have the sensory opportunity to, to feel them, to be in that climate. And for students, students who have special educational needs, maybe sensory need, it's a beautiful place as well. It's very calm, it's very tranquil, it's been purposely planted. So it has kind of like a dual purpose for that. And then the third biodome we has animals. We have, and again, all the animals we have in the biodomes have actually been animals that have been surrendered to us, which we've kind of rescued. There's nothing in there that, we've bought. It's something that we've like taken on from the community. And we really purposely try and make sure that the animals that we have in there, that we are teaching the student about kindness and empathy and animal husbandry and how to care for them. So everything is intentional, the way that we've set it up. We have edible gardens. We grow a lot of food. We have a 45-year-old African tortoise called Darwin who lives here with us. Again, he was a rescue. He was found on the side of the road, and he's been here with us. And the students grow food for Darwin. There's projects, especially for the little ones, about why Darwin has this food that needs to be grown for him. There's so much to it. It's incredible to see on a daily basis. And then we also work outside of the school as well. So a lot of the projects we have, like mangrove propagation. So students are working on, turtles as well, and about looking at conservation for turtles. So they'll build nests for the turtles, and they'll actually be able to go out and place the net. So we design our curriculum very purposely to be a kind of indoor-outdoor opportunities for all of our students.
And it sounds as if the students get really engaged from a very young age and are deeply involved in these things. But I think you even have eco committees and community conservation projects. Can you tell us a bit more about those and how you encourage student-led initiatives?
We try to cultivate a sense of responsibility in our students. And I think because we are such a hands-on school and we try to embed everything that we do in real world problems and issues, the students do take ownership of that. And I think that's something that we're really proud of here. They cultivate that responsibility, not because they're told to care, but because they really do want to experience that interdependence on firsthand on their own. So that's something that we create those opportunities for our students to be a part of. They really see that they have choices and they have a voice in decision making across the school about the types of projects that we get involved in. As you said, we've got eco councils, we have ambassadors, we have students that work on small projects that may be off site, and it'll be things that we have a citizen scientist on site who kind of like has a lot of connections here in the UAE, and she's able to put them in touch with different entities, be able to work outside of the school as well. But equally, we bring those people in as well. So again, if we go back to the animals, looking at opportunities for students to look at rehabilitating different birds of prey. So birds of prey are very big here in the UAE, and they're preserved. And they look at, the way that people may rehabilitate some of these animals that have been injured, and we will invite those people in, and the students that choose to will work on projects like that as well. So there's a lot of opportunity that we create for our students, but we also give them the autonomy and the ownership of that they choose what they want to be a part of. But one thing's for sure, if they come to Arbor, there is an expectation that they have a passion and they are interested in what we are striving for as part of our mission.
And I expect this flows over into the parent community as well. I mean, how do they get involved, and are they equally inspired by what you're
Absolutely.
doing?
Yeah, I mean, the parents are absolutely incredible at this school, and they are very hands-on. It's an open door here, so in the morning I'll be standing on the gate and they'll come and give us suggestions, or they'll come and tell us about something that they did at the weekend as a family. And if there's, lots of people in the community will offer their services as well to come in and speak. So we've had parents who, are really big into environmental action and, climate change. They'll come in and they'll talk about what they do in their role and they're in the industry here, about what they actually impart to the students is so beneficial, especially for the ones at the top end who are deciding what they want to do with their futures. We've had parents come in and talk about biodiesel and about what that looks like, and it's an incredible parent community, and they are really engaged in what we do.
That sounds fantastic. So just a bit of an overview. The population, many international, from young people from many different nationalities.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely. We have
and what
yeah.
and the sort of size of the school, and also how long have you been open? Because it sounds all fabulously new and modern.
So we've been open since 2018. So it's quite a young school in comparison to some of the other schools here in Dubai. We're not quite full yet. The top end of the school is still quite small, but we are growing rapidly. We have 1,550 students, over 90 nationalities, across from all over the world. We've, a lot of students coming in from Europe, UK. We have students that are coming in from Australia, New Zealand. We have lots of students that are local to the areas as well. So a real diverse mix of population. I love it. It's like a little microcosm of wider society.
Yes. So beyond the environmental action, then, how does Arbor also empower students to become the change makers that we're all looking for across the world and other disciplines, as well as the arts and other academic pathways that you offer?
Well, the arts are absolutely my passion because that is actually my background. So when I joined the school last year, I think there was, I came in as a performing arts specialist. And some people might be, oh, why? I mean, my passion is absolutely environmental education as well, but I actually think it goes hand in hand beautifully. Because if you're challenging these students to be change makers for tomorrow, they need a voice. They need to be able to articulate themselves. They need to be able to, stand up and be counted. And if you look at some of the dreadful things that are going on in the world and have gone on in the world, it's actually the arts that have lifted people up, and they're the ones that have had, a real voice and a moment in time where they could be the voice for people that maybe didn't have one, whether it be through fine art or sculpture or dance or music or drama. Like that really is a fundamental part of what it means to be able to be a change maker. I do believe that. And then the sport as well, that's equally important. You're wanting students to have healthy minds. They need to have that kind of physical attribute to it as well, and be healthy in that way. So sport really does lay into that part as well. We actually have just employed our very own Bear Grylls. We have our first ever outdoor educator, and actually he is his background is PE. So actually what he's looking at the moment is how he can take the PE curriculum in the school and add more kind of outdoor education. If you are doing geography, you're looking at the rocks, why not get on a kayak and go in and have a look at, the way the geological makeup of the rocks in the wadis here. So we're really trying to redesign what PE can look like as well. So yeah, really important to kind of the environmental storytelling that we're trying to do here. And also, obviously, not forgetting, we are really successful in our GCSE and A-level outcomes as well. Our students achieve absolutely exceptional GCSE and A-level results. And I do genuinely believe it's because they are, we're giving them the skill set. We're giving them all the different opportunities to be critical thinkers, to think outside the box, to stand up and, have a voice and really think about what it looks like to come at something from a different perspective. And I think that again, that lends into the strength of the academics in school as well.
Well, it sounds a wonderful mix and a fantastic confidence building for all types of children and
Yeah.
all their interests catered for, which, and if coming from your background as well, that must be a particularly inspiring and a good thing to be doing for all ages, from the little ones right up to the very senior. So looking ahead, what next do you think there is for Arbor School?
Well, I think from a kind of a local perspective, in our mission statement is enough for all forever, and I think that that mirrors beautifully the UAE's national commitment to sustainability and innovation. So we want to be a beacon here to kind of lead the way for other schools into what really strong environmental education can look like, whatever that looks like. And we know that not all schools have, the amazing facilities that we have, but everyone has the opportunity to do something. And I think that we want to be part of that. We want to show the way for other schools here. And it also, if the UAE's vision for 2030 as well, with this, it's a real clear direction that education is central to climate action. And I really feel that that's something that Arbor can be a part of. So yeah, it's exciting times here. It's a great place to be for education, for everything really, but for education specifically.
Brilliant. And as a new head, relatively new, how do you plan to build on this achievement and continue inspiring young people to be environmental leaders?
We're very research driven here, and I think that's something, again, that's my passion as well. Everything's evidence informed. We really do have a good look at like what really decent teaching and learning looks like. And for me as a head teacher, it's about continuing to build on the excellence that we've started, and really make sure that everything we do is underpinned by the evidence informed practice, and making sure that every child that comes into this school, no matter what if they have a barrier to learning, or whether they are just thriving in everything that they do, we support them, and we support them well. So I think that for me as a head teacher, mine is about a duty of care to make sure every child that comes through the door can thrive at Arbor.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful beacon school, and I'd love to visit it sometime. So
You're
thank you
very
so
welcome.
much. Thank you. And thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for sharing everything with us today. And we'll look forward to hearing more about your journey. So thank you very much, Gemma, for sharing these things with us. We've been speaking to Gemma Thornley, Principal, the Arbor School in Dubai. So just a few words about the Arbor School, which is an international ecological school based on the British curriculum, offering places in foundation stage 1 through to year 13 in the UAE. So we've explored some wonderful things today. You can find on the closing screens slides, bio details about Gemma's background, some contact details about the school, so please do get in touch. And thank you very much again, Gemma, for joining us. I'm Fiona Murchie, Managing Editor of Relocate Global and Think Global People. We provide lots of resources for our community of parents, employers, and relocation professionals. So please do dip into our education resources and enjoy our online international schools fairs, content, and webinars like these. Thank you very much. Goodbye.